What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Johnny, back again with another edition of Mr. Calloway's View of the World. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Yeah. And let's go on and jump into it. Today I want to talk about the homicide rate amongst our youth and why it's something that we totally gloss over as if it's not a big deal or not a huge problem within the African American community. And I can only speak of where I am here in Kansas City. I can't speak of the other places around the USA. But I think it's safe to say most inner cities are about the same when it comes to gun violence. Here in Kansas City, we've had 154 homicides to date, and this is today's October 23rd. 154 homicides. And it's so crazy because this has become a norm. We glorify the rappers who say they clap you. We love the songs Walk Down on Them, Murder on My Mind. And we pretend there's no correlation to the music and the reality that's playing out with our young boys. And it's real disheartening. To put it in perspective a little more, in an 86-year period where all lynchings were documented, there was a little over 3,400 black men lynched. We could just round up roughly and say there were 3,500 black men lynched here in America in an 86-year period. We surpassed that on our own in homicides every 6 months. Not just Kansas City, but just as America. We kill another black person so often that every 6 months it matches the total of the number of black men lynched in America. And no one bats an eye to it. And I heard this quote, it wasn't really a quote, but Nipsey Hussle was on an interview and he said something that just really stuck out to me. He said, when you got beef and you riding around, you ride past the squares, you ride past the white people, but the minute you see somebody that's moving like you, they got your swag, they got your demeanor, and you're like, hey, hold on, who is that, cuz? You never realize that you were trained to look for somebody that looks just like you to murder them. Magic, right? See, when you walk around, and we talk about white supremacy and the KKK and all of that, but when you walk through the mall, you ain't looking at every person like, I pulled a chop out on them and let them have it. You don't walk through your suburban areas and say, I'll empty a clip on anybody in here, on llamas. But we do that to people that look just like us. If that isn't self-hate, what is it? See, we can get on TV every damn day and talk about police reform. But what about community reform? You know, we can keep talking about gun laws, but if we're being honest, most of these homicides happen with illegal guns. So the next step would be these young boys raised in broken environments, come from broken families, and all of the people that look like them love to glorify gang violence. Meek Mill still talks about getting it out the mud. Meek Mill's been a millionaire probably for over 10 years now, if I'm not mistaken. 2 Chainz, Young Dolph, you name any of these rappers who have these guns and try to still hold on to their street demeanor without realizing that ain't your life no more, bro. And those people who make it to that level of wealth and still try to carry on this street tough gangster attitude is the reason, not the only reason, but a huge contributing factor of why so many young kids are killing each other. It's because I ain't got the money yet, I ain't got the cars yet, I ain't got the girls yet, but I got the strap. You gonna respect me, I'm willing to die for mine. See, as a grown-up, I take full accountability for the way I carry myself on a daily basis. Because whether I want to be or not, I am a role model for young boys who see me. And I'm not sure why that message hasn't got through to these rappers. That if they don't think that their music has any correlation with the murder rates in our communities, see, we could change us if we wanted to change us. But I think we prefer being cool over being honest. And if we're being honest, poverty has nothing to do with crime. Just because you're poor don't mean you have to become a shooter or a robber or any type of criminal at all. If you dropped a bag of money off in every house in every inner city around America, that doesn't change morals, principles, character, or values. Self-love starts with understanding that I don't want to do anything to harm my community. And it also means that I understand that I am a valuable part of my community. So I need to be healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally. That way I'm a valuable asset to my community. But if I'm just another murderer, or robber, or drug dealer, or stripper, what value am I adding to my community? I'm not an asset, I'm a liability. And I think a lot of us need to look at ourselves and say, are we an asset to the black community, or are we a liability to the black community? Every time you turn on the TV, it's a black mother crying that her black son was killed by another black boy. There's rarely any fathers at all in the situation. And it's disheartening. You see, when they make it to the NBA or the NFL, she was a strong single mama. But when they end up dead or in jail, it's because he didn't have a daddy. If only his daddy would have stuck around. If only his daddy was in his life. If you take credit for the success, you have to be willing to take credit for the failure. And at this rate, I think we have to be honest and say, as parents, we are failing our youth based on the statistics of the homicide rates. We have been failing our youth. I have a lot of friends that have been murdered who were failed by adults who could have gave them better advice, better guidance. So now that I've made it to the other side, I want to be one of those adults that give better guidance, better wisdom, better advice. The streets don't love you. They never will. It's cool to be book smart. It's lame to be street smart. Let's get the youth to understand But violence isn't the answer. Let's learn to control our emotions so our emotions stop controlling us. Let's learn how our brain works. Let's understand that the frequencies that we ride around on when we listen to music, rap music, blasting in our cars all day. Let's understand that these lyrics and these beats soak into our subconscious mind and affect the way we think. That the lack of knowledge is affecting our frontal lobe in our brains. That the same way that you could train your body to be strong, that you can train your brain and your mind to be strong. We need more conversation like this in the Black community. More thoughts, more uplifting, less violence. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, spread love. You can only go as far as your belief system. So believe big, think big, dream big, and do big things. Thank you, YouTube.